Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter, episode 31. Episode 31. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your messages I received from you. I was thinking earlier, my inbox has 151 messages now. Okay, 151 emails in the inbox. And as those of you who, and if you write a special message to me, specific, I absolutely respond. Those of you who have done that know that. So don't hesitate to do it. And, then you add in the text messages and even occasional phone calls. And I really appreciate your responsiveness, okay? I really appreciate your responsiveness. And don't forget also, every day, and usually twice a day now, I post on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Rumble, okay? I don't post on YouTube too often because I'm not big on being banned. I'm kind of like... kind of like Frank Sinatra in that respect. Sinatra used to tell people, used to say to people, don't tell, suggest. Okay? If you don't like what I'm doing, suggest that I change. Don't tell. Well, I don't like being banned, so I don't go on YouTube too much. But Facebook every day at least once, sometimes twice, I post a message to you all that I'd love to have your responses to. Okay? So let's do this thing. But the main vehicle, obviously, every week we do this is Coffee with Carib Carter. And in today's episode, I think you're going to particularly enjoy, because about once a month or so, I have the reader's right, essentially. I guess I should say the viewer's vent, whatever, since it is a video podcast. But I take some of the messages that you've sent that are kind of representative of some of the things I hear. I respond to them. And that's what we're going to do today. Okay. And I think you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to enjoy it. I certainly enjoy responding to them. And so, most of them are very positive. I'm going to give you one that's negative, but my philosophy on the negative is what the good book tells us: a soft answer turneth away wrath. Okay. And the older you get, trust me, the less you want to argue with people, for two reasons. One, if it's somebody that you're never going to see again, what's the sense in it? Okay, don't let them get your bile up. If it's somebody you are going to see again, don't prolong the agony, okay, by arguing back and forth. So you'll see what I mean in a minute with one of the email messages that I received. And so let's get right into them. Let's just get right into them, okay? The first one is from, and by the way, we're going to do in one of the answers, I'm going to do the $1,000 listing Caribbean, because I know you love that. And a good many people have made purchases on it, okay? So we'll get more into that in a minute. But the first message is from Doris M. in Portland, Oregon. I have a cousin who lives up there. And she wrote, Carter, I would love to live in Honduras like you did. And I actually still do. I have 2 homes there. But I'm single and alone, and I'm afraid I won't be safe. Okay. All I hear about is crime in Honduras, yet you own 2 homes and you don't seem afraid. What's a girl to do? Okay. All right, Doris. Let's talk about the crime in Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, everywhere south of the border. I'm just going to tell you that don't believe everything that the U.S. government tells you in terms of the crime stats, okay? Okay, if you go to the State Department's section where they tell you about whether you should go visit any Central American countries, you are going to think that you could save yourself the flight fare just by shooting yourself in the head at home, okay? But it ain't so. All right. As Doris pointed out, I have 2 homes there. One, the beachfront cottage right on the ocean outside of La Ceiba Beach Club. The other in El Colón, which is a small community in Honduras, very friendly, wonderful small community. And previously, I owned a home in Pico Bonito, or under Pico Bonito. That's the mountain that was called Vista Bonita. So I've lived there a lot. Okay, I've spent a lot of time there. And obviously, my wife is from Honduras. And look, I feel safer walking the streets of La Ceiba, Honduras, and frankly, even San Pedro Sula, Honduras, which does have the highest crime rate in Honduras, than I do walking 5 blocks from where I'm sitting talking to you right now in York, Pennsylvania. I'm just telling you. You could not pay me enough money to walk out at night 5 blocks from where I live. I jog, and I don't even like to jog through York City in the daytime, okay? Because not only is the crime out of control, but the liberal mayor of the town refuses to prosecute those who commit the crimes. You know, it's an equity thing. It's an equity thing. And so you don't have that in Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Uruguay, Paraguay, Guyana, all across that, you know, they prosecute crime. And, you know, every night when I lived in Vista Bonita, I would walk up a country lane. Vista Bonita was a country lane away from the little town, El Pino, and I would walk up to El Pino almost every night to the AA meeting. I've been in AA for 20 years, thank God, literally, thank God. And I never had anything bad happen to me, okay? At night, I'd go to these meetings were in the evenings that I would go to. So, you know, do I advise against being stupid? Yeah, you know, don't walk down dark alleys at nighttime in any city and in most of the U.S. now. But in terms of where the crime is, I'll show you. Know, it's so funny. After I got this email and I was researching this answer to give to Doris, I happened to get this in my email. Okay, see what's circled there? Can you read there? Add self-protection for only $10 a month. Add $10 a month to try and protect myself from the criminal element in this country. That's not written to me in Honduras. Okay, it's not written to me in Honduras. And how about this? Here's a typical American city headline now. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? 550 murders so far in Chicago, where the mayor announced that our city is safe 6 weeks ago. She stood up and held a press conference. Our city is safe. Maybe for her, she's surrounded by armed bodyguards, but you're not. The crime rates in American cities are higher than any country in Central America. I'm just telling you that. As a matter of fact, Nicaragua, murder rate per 100,000 is 8. The U.S. admits to 5. And I say the words admits seriously, folks. You know, I have a good friend who's a police officer in D.C., and he said, you hear about half. You hear about half of what's really going on here. So my advice to Doris is, don't worry about it. I know somebody said, Carter, well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it because it's so overblown. Do you want to be careful? Well, my wife and I, when she used to live there, my wife has been here almost 4 years now, but I would fly down to San Pedro Sula and to visit her, and which is supposed to be horribly unsafe. And we would stay at the Princess Hotel, Princess Hilton, and walk these several blocks to the mall. Gorgeous mall, by the way, gorgeous, modern, beautiful mall. And then walk back, and she and her sister and I then would walk a couple blocks off the main drag to our favorite Italian restaurant, or in the other direction to our favorite Chinese restaurant. Live your life. Just live your life, okay? So my answer, what to do? Just make your move. Make your move. Make your move, and I'll guarantee you, you're going to enjoy every second of it, and you're not going to feel threatened all the time. I walk the streets of La Ceiba to Gosagapa, and Honduras, you know, among the countries down there, has a higher crime rate than obviously than Nicaragua. You're safer in Nicaragua than almost any town in America. And so, and even then, it was delightful. It was delightful. And I simply didn't feel threatened. Okay. Don't be stupid. Never be stupid. Well, always have situation awareness. We all do that. Have situation. But you don't have to constantly be looking over your shoulder like you do when you walk through almost every area of every American city now. Okay, so there's your answer. And it's from the heart. And I hope it's to the heart, because I don't want you to be driven by fear. Just don't believe everything you hear. Check out, by the way, the UK government has much more reliable information about safety in countries around the world than our State Department, which has one goal in mind: keep you here to pay your taxes. Yeah. Okay. So just that's for what it's worth about living the good life at a great price and a safe life in Central and South American countries. All right. All right. My next message. Let's go. Let's keep moving. Next message was actually a text message from Ronald D. in Paducah, Kentucky, which coincidentally is where my sister lives. Okay. And he writes, Carib Carter, I'm not rich by any means, but my wife and I have tucked away a significant savings account. We own some stock and our home has a good deal of equity. Next month I retire, and I'm worried about how we're going to make ends meet in the future, especially the way Biden administration is spending money and the taxes he's proposing. I'm just worried about our financial future. Would moving offshore help us? Let me think. In a word, yes. Yes. In every Central and South American country, you can live for anywhere from a quarter to a half of what you live in this, it costs you to live in this country. Okay. Very, very much so. Very, very much so. If you, I hope you subscribe to the Gazette. Chances are that you're watching this now because it's in the Offshore Club Gazette. If you don't, make sure you subscribe at offshore.club and tell your friends to subscribe. We always talk about two kinds of articles that we need to share with people: the dream and the dread. Okay, the dread is what's going on in this country. I'm just going to level with you. Okay, I just talked about the crime, and let me add to that. I forgot, violent crime in 2020 was up 30% in America. There's not one country in all of Central and South America and all of Latin America that comes anywhere near that. Violent crime up 30%. That's a record. Okay. And when you figure that the liberal Democrat mayors are defunding the police. So, by the way, the FBI said, we can't imagine why. Well, how about because they defunded the police? Think that might have had an effect? Stop it. Why can't the government ever just level with us? Okay. But that's an aside, back to the crime thing. But the cost of living. Okay, we talk about it in the Offshore Gazette. We have articles that are about the dream of what you can find when you make your move south of the border, and the dread, the kind of thing that, quite frankly, you need to escape here. I'm not pulling any punches on this stuff, okay? I'm not going to soft pedal because it's not fair to you. So, the economic situation in this country. Ronald's worried about what's going to become of his money. Here's what's going to become of your money. If you leave it in the bank, it draws 0.1% interest at a time when the government admits to 5 to 6% inflation. As Bill Clinton said, do the math, do the math. The math ain't good. Okay. And by the way, the 5 to 6% is a lie. If you want to know the real inflation rate, check out John Williams at Shadow Stats, okay? And the real inflation rate is about 13.4% right now. You know it if you shop every day. You know it if you go shopping every day, okay? The politicians don't care because their bank accounts are padded, and they don't worry about shopping. They send hired help out to do that. They probably don't even know the cost, what the cost of things are. But you do, so you know John Williams is right. 13.4% is where inflation is. And it's going to continue to go up. Why? Because of two things. One, the federal government now prints 120, brace yourself, $billion of fiat money every month. That's more than the federal government printed in the previous 200 years in toto. And every dollar they print of this fiat money reduces the value of that dollar in your pocket. Okay? Get that dollar in your pocket. I got a couple of them in my pocket. Spend them fast as you can because they're dropping. Okay? That's where we are. They're going to continue to drop. Ronald, your money that you think it is accumulating, when you get 30, the average, they tell you that the average, you talked about stocks, Ronald, and I'm glad you invested in stocks. By the way, there's a great guy named Tim Melvin, does Better Way to Wealth. Google it. That is one man you can rely on to help you make a good 20% return on your stocks. But the average stock return is well under 10%. The Harvard endowment, the other big endowments, they're lucky to hit 4 or 5%. And they tell us, the best minds in the world making our investments. So if your return on your investment is, the mutual funds say they're 10%, they're not. They're in the 6 to 7% range if they're really good. But if so again, do the math. Just do the math. Do the math between 13.7% inflation rate and the return on stock investments, which is now 6 to 7%. It ain't good. Even if you take the government's figure, please don't. You're at best breaking even. So no, it's not good. And the other reason it's getting worse is government spending. They're printing fiat money and they're spending everything in sight. Okay. $3.5 billion phony infrastructure bill they're pushing now. I say phony because there's nothing in it, very little in it about bridges and roads and buildings and the things that we used to call infrastructure. It's all now human infrastructure, social programs. Like, I'm not making this up, $5 billion for tree equity in our inner cities. It almost hurts to even say that, doesn't it? I mean, I grew up in Baltimore City. There ain't no place left to plant trees. Okay? This is insulting. Okay? 3.5 trillion. And thank God for West Virginia's Joe Manchin. Okay? I have a home in West Virginia, so in a way he's one of my senators. And he's made it clear there is no way I'm voting for that $3.5 trillion boondoggle. No way, because as he puts it, it is fiscal insanity. Fiscal insanity. Okay? I remember when they spend this money, I'll get to in a minute, there's only one place for them to get it. Okay, I mean, they print it, obviously, but the other place, it's you. But here's what Manchin said. Overall, the amount we spend now must be balanced with the need we can afford, not designed, this is the important part for you, to re-engineer the social and economic fabric of the nation or vengefully tax for the sake of wishful spending. So, Ronald, that's the second part of it. First, they're printing money willy-nilly. Second, they're spending like drunken sailors, as we used to say. And the third bad part, and why, Ronald, I say get your money offshore, yourself, your family, everyone, get them offshore where this nonsense doesn't go on a daily basis. The other thing is they're coming for that money in higher taxes. The government bankrupted the country. The federal, state, and local governments bankrupted the country with their spending and their out of control COVID panic. And so they're looking for you, pull it out of your pocket in order to pay the government's bills with your money, including, of course, tree equity. Right now, in that phony infrastructure bill, just one example, I'm going to move on then because I don't want to go on forever for this. But move offshore. That's the key part here, where you don't have this crapola. But in the phony infrastructure bill, there is a stuck in the middle of the night, a gas mileage tax, which will be for you. They said, well, it's just a pilot program. Stop it, please. We know what you're up to, government. Remember what Ronald Reagan said, a government program is the nearest thing we have on the face of the earth to eternal life. The mileage tax will be 10 cents per mile on you, folks, on you. The largest middle-class tax increase in history, even exceeding Obama's Obamacare tax. Both he and Biden promised, I'll never tax the middle class, and both have now, Obama pushed through, Biden is put, Biden, my little Freudian slip there, is pushing through the largest single middle class, that's you, folks, tax increase in history, 10 cents a mile. So think, the average person drives 12,000 miles a year. So your wife, you both drive, that's $2,400 they're going to be reaching to pull out of you. Can you really afford that? I don't think so, Ronald. I don't think so, particularly after you retire. That's why I say the answer to the question, should you move offshore? Yes, because your cost of living is going to be a fraction of what it is here. And you're going to live much better. As a matter of fact, just to show you the cost of living, I did some research. I know how low I know you can live for $1,000, $1,200, at most $1,500 a year, like royalty in Honduras. But super producer Brian, so for Ronald and all the other people wondering if they can live better for less offshore, roll this great video, folks. It's short. It's only about 4 minutes on the cost of living in Ecuador. You're going to love this, folks. You're going to love it. Let her roll, Ryan.
Yeah, man. Good.
Okay. All right. I'm rolling. Good.
Keep going, buddy.
Isn't that great? Beautiful country, wonderful people, delicious food, and a cost of living that's a fraction of what it is here. So if you're living on retirement income, if you're living on your set-asides, you're going to live very, very well south of the border and not have to worry about when the whole economy collapses, because their economies are not dependent on the U.S. Keep that in mind, okay? Their economies are not dependent on the U.S. propped up economy, which, by the way, last week had the unexpected new unemployment filing, 367,000. It's been averaging over 3. So 1 million people in a year are filing new unemployment filings every month in this country. So don't believe all this bumps about our economies. Our economy is really strong, as Biden tells us. No, he's the one who said he would never increase I love this. I mentioned that it never increase your taxes on the middle class. That's what he told us. As a matter of fact, then he added, and I give you my word as a Biden. It's a little frightening. So there we go. Okay. So your cost of living, minuscule in those countries, and you live much better. Remember what I tell you? Make your move to the good life at a great price. Okay. Another letter now. This one is from a follower who's not too happy. Robert. Robert is not a very happy man. He's in Utica. And Robert says, you, me, are nothing but a fearmonger. You want to sell real estate in Latin America, so you make it sound like things are bad in the U.S. Shame on you. I take it, Robert, if you're watching, that you're a Biden voter, so congratulations, you have reached nirvana. Enjoy it, okay? But in terms of real estate, first of all, we don't sell real estate at the Offshore Club, okay? You cannot buy any real estate through the Offshore Club. Do I tell you about a lot of real estate? Incredible deals on real estate, like I'm going to tell you about in just a minute, about one that you're absolutely going to love. Yeah, I do. And I tell you a lot of times how you can get hold of it. I told you La Ceiba Beach Club, Chris Barrett. I've told you how to get hold of him. As a matter of fact, If you look in some of the past episodes, I've interviewed him and his wife, Suya. Wonderful, wonderful people. The Save Beach Club is where I bought my home, which so I always do every week. There it is, folks. There it is. Is that beautiful? It's on the ocean, not ocean view, on the ocean. Out the back door is the swimming pool and the gazebo and the clubhouse. Look at that. Full that I didn't make that yard that pretty. I don't do that. They got groundkeepers, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, $32,000. Now, can you buy it from me? Not in this lifetime. Okay. So I don't sell real estate. I've told you about Vista Bonita, Honduras, the Howard brothers. Get hold of them. ECI development. Mike Cobb communities are the most beautiful in all of Central America. Okay. Nicaragua, Grand Pacifica, Belize, Grand Bayman, just right down the line. So I do tell you about places you can buy, but you can't buy them from here. You can't buy them from me because I don't sell real estate. I tell you where you can get some incredible deals, and I hope and I pray to God that you do it because it's going to be such a better life for you. Okay, so that's first of all. We don't sell real estate. We're a club, and we help our club members find great places to live. And the more we move south, the bigger the club is down there, and the more fun we can have together in the sun, sand, and surf. So that's number one. That's number one. That's just, you shouldn't say something like that because it's not true. Now, as to fear mongering, you know, I wish telling the truth wasn't fearful. I really do. I don't make this stuff up, folks. All the stuff I just told you about the crime, 30% murder rate increase in the U.S. last year, that's not fear mongering. That's helping people be safe. Okay. You know, the city of was Seattle, or Portland. It was actually Portland, where the mayor allowed them to burn down the city. And then 3 or 4 weeks ago said, well, looking back, maybe it was a mistake. You think? Mayor Baltimore did the same thing. Oh, come on. That's not fear mongering for me. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite people, H.L. Mencken. Yeah, I'm a Baltimore kid. I grew up on the streets of Baltimore. H.L. Mencken was the sage of Baltimore. Here's what he said. Who is in terms of who is the fear mongers? The whole aim of politics is to keep the populace alarmed and afraid, and hence clamorous to be led to safety by an endless series of hobgoblins, most of them imaginary. So the fear mongering is from the politicians. Think about it. Think about it. Their whole life is to make whites afraid of blacks, blacks afraid of whites, young afraid of old, old afraid of young, rich afraid of poor, poor afraid of rich, always at each other. One country afraid of another. We have to, let me see real quick now. We have to bomb. We have to go to war with North Vietnam because they bombed our boat in the Bay of Tonkin. I'm old enough to remember it. And that was a lie. Be afraid of those North Vietnamese, because if North Vietnamese, if they get their way, they're going to take over all of Asia. Excuse me? Well, North Vietnamese got their way, and they didn't take over anything except South Vietnam. Okay? Lie. Don't forget, we have to go to war with Saddam because he has weapons of mass destruction. Well, so much for that. But it's always that, isn't it? There's always some enemy. So you want fear mongering, Robert? You want fear mongering? It's the politicians that fear monger. What I say is, folks, you know, go for the hope. Forget the fear. Go for the hope. Okay? Go to places where you don't have the constant fear mongering. Go to somewhere in like Honduras or Nicaragua, Guatemala, Uruguay, Paraguay, Ecuador, Peru, all these countries where the politicians don't pit everybody against each other. You need to really hate him because he's out to get you. Excuse me? You know, that's fear mongering. That's fear mongering. What we say in the Offshore Club is make the move down there. You're going to love living with these people. You're going to love it. I did. I still do. Obviously, I do. My wife is Honduran. Right now, she's in the other room, and I don't feel too fearful. Okay, so I think it's exactly backwards. Exactly backwards. Offshore Club, it's all about hope and resiliency. Going for the goal, living the good life, the great life, okay? And forget about the fears. Just forget about the fears, because you don't have to live with them anymore. Leave all this behind here, because the politicians in this country aren't going to stop. You know, now you better be afraid of the unvaccinated. They're out to kill you. I'm not saying get vaccinated or not, but I don't think that's a very nice thing to do to people. Why don't, and then I was going to say, why don't they just round up the unvaccinated for internment camps? But the CDC is already talking about it. So look it up. I'm not spreading fear. I'm spreading escape to a better life. And so, yeah. Okay. So that's my answer. You know, if you like all this, if you like what now has turned into a place where everybody's at each other's throats, it didn't used to be that way. It's not the country I grew up in. If you like that, Robert, you should be, as I said, in nirvana now. And it's just going to get better for you, because this internecine warfare is not going to stop as long as the politicians keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And you see it anew every day, don't you? So just get your stuff. You know, here's what I'm inviting you to do. Come on down to, I'll be in at our place we bought in Honduras at La Ceiba Beach Club. My wife and I are heading down. Probably drop me a note. I'm going to invite you down. Okay? I'm going to invite you down. I'm going to guarantee you something. You can leave the fear behind, because you're going to love it there. You're going to love it here. Forget fear. Have fun. That's my motto for you. Okay? What do we say at the Coffee with Carib Carter's slogan? It's life is better where it's wetter. Okay? You don't have the fear there. So that's my answer to the question about the fear. And I hope I didn't offend anybody, but it's just the way it is. The good life at a great price of sun, sand, and surf. That's the whole point. It's not nothing to do about fear. And a matter of fact, to show you how good the life actually is, and when I said at a great price, the next letter, we're going to go to the next letter now. Let me find it here. This is from Caroline J. and Reno, Bill and Caroline and Reno. And the letter's short and to the point. Okay, Carib Carter, we're ready to make our move. We have $70,000 set aside. So give us your single best recommendation right now. Okay. My best recommendation is come and be my neighbor at La Ceiba Beach Club. Okay. I'm not going to make any money if you buy the house next to me, but if you do, we're going to be great neighbors. Okay. Along with everybody else that's already there. That's my best recommendation. But let's go to my second best. Okay. Let's go to my second best. Because it's time for our $1,000, thanks to your question, Bill and Caroline, it's time for our $1,000 listing Caribbean. So let's roll the theme. Super. For today's Somewhere Beyond the Sea, Bobby Darin, what an incredible talent. What an incredible talent. What a song style. You know, he died at 32 years old, 37 years old, open heart surgery. But what an impact he made in those days. You know, sometimes you realize it's not how long you live, it's how well you live. Okay. That's why I say live well offshore. So this time, for today's $1,000 listing Caribbean, we're going to do something unique, because I have never, ever gone to the Eastern Caribbean for you. Okay. But I decided to do some homework for Bill and Caroline, and I'm going to recommend they take a look at Dominican Republic. Okay. Gorgeous, gorgeous country. Gorgeous, gorgeous country. Island, as you know, it's a half an island. The other half's Haiti. I'm not recommending you move to Haiti, but Dominican Republic, half of it is just absolutely gorgeous, and it's all beautiful beachfront. As far as safety and security, the gov.uk. Their foreign travel advice says it's friendly and welcoming, and the vast amounts of visits are trouble-free. So that's good. That's great. Cost of living. Here is the monthly budget of $1,200 allows an American retiree to live comfortably in the Dominican Republic. A monthly budget of $2,000 would allow a couple to enjoy a larger home with household help and afford more expensive entertainment options. That's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. $2,000 a month. So, Bill and Caroline, that if your budget, if your home buying budget $70,000, then I'm sure you have enough money, for the $2,000 a month to literally, honest to God, live like royalty. Folks, I've done it. Remember, I've lived in Honduras. Very similar budgetary situation, their financial situation. So let's take a look at a home there. Okay. First of all, I want to show you Dominican Republic. Sometimes, if you're like me, I was not a geography major. Okay. So you see where Dominican Republic is there? Okay. All right. Just to make sure you know what we're talking about here. It's over up here let me get my fingers in the right place. All right. Right up in there. Okay. So just so you know where we're talking about. Here we go. Here we go. And this is at vivion.com, viviun.com. Okay. Which I recommend to you all the time. Go there. Just peruse it. You go in, you type the name of the country you're interested in the upper little right-hand corner box. You hit go, and it takes you to all the listings they have in that country, which are incredible. I think Dominican Republic have about 3 pages. Here's one that jumped out at me. Okay. Villa apartment for sale in Dominican Republic. Okay. Let me show you a picture of it here. Let me show you a picture of it here. The apartment is in this. There's the apartment complex. Okay. Very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay. And this is beautiful villa apartment in small gated complex, Star Hills, it's called. Small and beautiful residential gated complex, northeast coast of Dominican Republic, considered to have the finest beaches and coral reefs on the island. Okay. Views from your apartment and this is a 2-bedroom apartment that we're talking about here, 2-bedroom. Okay. Views from your apartment. On one side is the mountains and the other side is the ocean. Okay. And you get the ocean breezes. 2-bedroom, furnished apartment, sitting dining room with beautiful arch windows, fabulous views, cathedral ceiling, spiral staircase leading to the mezzanine floor with the sitting area and adjoining bedroom and ensuite bathroom. Okay. So 2 bedrooms, an ensuite bathroom, one of them. Kitchenette, second bedroom on the same level, also has an ensuite bathroom. It's a very nice place, folks. It's a very nice place. Nearby amenities, and remember, it has 2 swimming pools, 1 lap pool. Nearby amenities are Robert Trent golf course. Those of you who know golf know you can't beat Robert Trent golf courses. And a luxury hotels nearby, first-class restaurants, casinos, boutiques, entertainment, short ride from the beautiful beaches, wherever you are in the Dominican Republic, you're a short ride from the beautiful beaches. Activities include snorkeling, windsurfing, tennis, mountain climbing, horseback riding, sightseeing, scenic tours. The works, folks, the works. This is a gorgeous place. Here is the, here you see the little leading up, the downstairs, the living room there. You can see the air conditioner leading up to the 2nd floor. We have the 2 bedrooms, each with its own bathroom, ensuite bathroom. It's kind of lovely. It's really kind of lovely, isn't it? There's one of your 3 swimming pools here. Okay. This is really the good life, folks. This is the good life. This is a good life. You all asked me for, you said your budget's around 70,000. I went a little over, Caroline and Bill, a little bit over everything I just told you, everything. $75,000. And they have in parentheses, negotiable. Okay, so you can get it for 70, in other words. 5-10 times as much in the U.S. So that's it. There you go. You want a 70? I got you 70. As we used to, the old TV show when I was kids, you ask for it. And we got it. There it is, Dominican Republic. Check it out, folks. Check it out. Anywhere you want to look in Central, go to Viviun, VIVIUN.com, and check these places out. You know, they got a million of them, as Jimmy Durante used to say, and I want you to get one of them. I want you to get one of them. Okay. So there you have it. There you have the $1,000 listing Caribbean. I love it. I love it. And we've gone for the first time ever to the East Caribbean. Okay. We're getting everywhere, folks, all over Latin America. And we're just going to keep doing it. One day I may find a place for you in Venezuela. Who knows? I have a feeling you can probably get it very, very cheap right now. And no dictator lasts forever. Okay. Even Franco died at 78. So no dictator lasts forever. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's see what happens here. But the whole point is, the whole purpose of Coffee with Carib Carter is for you to live the good life at a great price, sun, sand, and surf. And we're going to do it. We are going to do it. And the reason we're going to do it is we're not going to be cowed by anybody else. We're not going to be scared off by anybody else. We're not going to let our own fears and misgivings and sometimes self-doubts keep us from achieving everything that we really want to become. And that brings us to the final segment of Coffee with Carib Carter, really one of my favorite segments, what we call the Let's Do This Thing segment. This is the motivational, the out and out motivational. And I have a great short video. It's on 4 minutes. Again, it's, 4 minutes, because I know you don't, some folks don't like to be pulled away on videos, but this is a great video. And it's actually by one of my favorite motivational people. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I love this guy. I know some people don't, but I do. And I want you to just, even if you don't particularly like Joel Osteen, watch what he watch what he says here about overcoming fears. Okay, and living your dreams. Okay, so super producer Brian, roll Joel for us, please.
You talk a lot about dreams and how important they are to you.
Yeah, it is. I think that it's important to have a goal for your life, to have a dream that's bigger than where you are right now. I believe the dream is what keeps you going each day. It's what gives you passion and enthusiasm. And even now, God's blessed us, but I have a dream to be a greater impact to people or to be a better father. You just got to have something in front of you. It seems like today there are a lot of people that have lost their dream, or it's been pushed down. Hey, look, the economy's so bad. People tell me I'm never going to survive, or I'm never going to get to where I'm supposed to be. But I think you have to stir that up. I think it was Paul that told Timothy, stir up the gift that's within you. And I like to tell them, people that, with their seeds of greatness on the inside of every person. You can be a great father, a great employee, a great business owner, make a great difference in our world.
Did you ever have a dream for yourself when you thought, oh, I don't think I can do this one?
Well, I think the biggest, two of them, Rick. One, when my dad died, I knew I was supposed to step up and pastor the church, but I thought, I don't know how to minister. And I'm more quiet. I hadn't been out in the public eye. I'd been more behind the scenes. So that's one that, I've seen come to pass. And then I think the other one was the facility that we're in now, the former Compact Center. We were told that we would never get that facility, that the city, the city owns it, that the city would never lease that to a church. So it was, we were David and that was Goliath. But, here we are 5 years later and we're there. We saw God bring it to pass.
That seems to be one of your favorite stories, David and Goliath.
It really is, just because, God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. And I think we all look up in life at times and think, well, my challenges are too big, or I've gone as far as I can go in my career. But you know what? David was, I wanted to say just a shepherd boy. He was a shepherd boy, maybe not just, but it didn't look like he had that greatness in him. But you know what? Goliath, the challenge, is what made him king. It's what led him to the throne.
When you see somebody who has a dream and they're afraid of following it, what do you tell them?
Well, I tell them that, faith is, I believe one way faith is defined is in risk. And I think you got to be smart, and you can't just, I'm not saying quit your job, and but when it's deep down on the inside, at some point you have to say, sink or swim, I'm going to go after this dream. I'm going to take this step of faith. And I try to stay balanced, but also don't go your whole life and end up 80 years old and think, well, wonder what happened, what would have happened if I would have done this. And so I just encourage him, like even when my dad died, I didn't know if I could become a minister. I didn't know if I'd be good up there. But my attitude was, God, I believe this is what you want me to do. I'm going to step out in faith, and if it doesn't work, I'll go back and do something else. But I'm not too proud to try, even if I fail, to say, you know what, I thought I was supposed to do that. I think you have to have that attitude that you take that step of faith, and if it doesn't work out, I'll step back.
Isn't that good? It's just good, folks. It's really solid. It's really solid information, solid motivation information. And I love that he used David and Goliath, because one of my favorite aspects of the David and Goliath story is when his brothers, the fear mongers, the naysayers, okay, the dream slayers, when they say to him, you better go back home. You can't take Goliath on. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. You're not good enough. All those things you hear, don't you, sometimes when you say, I think I'm going to follow Carib Carter's advice and make my move south of the border to the good life of the great person. Oh, you better not do that. Don't listen to him. Remember what his brother said? Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, my God. And what was his reply? What was his reply? Those of you who were really familiar with the story, remember, he said, is there not a cause? Is there not a cause? Folks, when it comes to making your move offshore, you are the cause. You are the cause. And your life and living it to its fullest is what this is all about. And you deserve to have that cause fulfilled. You deserve to be everything you can be and make every one of your dreams come true. And so when anybody starts naysaying you, you say to them, there really is a cause. And I'm that cause. I'm that cause. I want to live life to its fullest. And I want my family to. And I want my friends who I'm going to urge to join me to do it. Because that's what this life is all about. One go around and living it absolutely, positively to its fullest. Okay? That's the cause. Join me in it. And as I say, every week at Coffee with Carib Carter, let's do this thing.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.